Hi there, internets. My name's Kyle. I'm starting this channel to engage on a bit of a journey with everyone, I guess, everybody that's interested in following along a journey of launching a new business to provide outstanding services for those out there who have PhDs in engineering and maybe are having some struggles with where they're at in their career and are looking for some help to kind of get to the next level, whatever that is, whether that's money or just the type of work that they want to do. I intend to be as real as I can on this channel, to be as honest about how things are progressing. I'm by no means any expert on starting a business, especially not one providing coaching type services, providing kind of a quote unquote expert opinion to help somebody along their journey, but I've been called, I guess, to do that, and so I'm going to embark on that journey over the coming weeks, months, and hopefully many years to come. I mean, I will be honest, ultimately what I'd like to do is move on to do my business full time. I'm still gainfully employed, thanks be to God for the outstanding blessings He has given me and my family in our lives. But ultimately, it's just not where I would like to be in the long term. And I think helping others in the work that they're doing is something that fits ultimately who I am and who I've been called to be in the longer term. This week I'm at an event called Funnel Hacker Live. It's the t-shirt, Funnel Hacker for Life. Learning a lot about marketing, sales, how to be engaged with customers and clients and whatnot. Again, I'm starting here from basically no knowledge, no pre-frame of sorts in terms of what is ultimately expected from me. But I know where I want to be or where I want to go. I have set some goals to get an award next year at this event. For those that are not familiar with the ClickFunnels community, they have these awards that they give out every year at this event to kind of highlight those that have reached some specific revenue threshold within their own business. And the kind of starting one is the so-called 2 comma club, 2 commas for reaching $1 million in revenues for the year. So I've set a goal that within a year, within this new coaching business, and it'll be a little bit more than just coaching, I would say. I'll get into that in future videos. But within this business, I would like, or rather than I would just like, I will be hitting getting a 2 Comma Club award around this time next year, whenever the event is happening. This year is currently in Orlando, Florida. I'm sitting here on the last day. It's Saturday, recording this video for you guys. And so this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the journey for me and for my family. I'm very blessed to have a very supportive spouse and 2 beautiful young daughters as well. And obviously I don't think it's going to be easy for any of us, but I think it's ultimately what I need to do in my life. And again, my wife is supportive of that, so I'm very blessed to have that in my life. Obviously I already have a lot of things kind of going for me, but again, still tons to learn, tons of work to put in. This is something I think I've been putting off a little bit already, and I know that I just kind of need to get down to it and do the work ultimately. So I guess that's kind of a brief introduction of what to expect from this channel. Again, I hope to share, provide more or less daily updates, maybe very brief, maybe more extended in some cases, as to how things are progressing in this business and how things are getting set up to hopefully help somebody else that might be having a similar call in their own life to start something new, start something fresh. and don't really, would just like to maybe watch or follow along with somebody else that's doing it as well. I passed up an offer today to join the ClickFunnels kind of, I guess it's sort of the introductory main coaching program that they have. It's a $25,000 coaching program, or $2,500 a month for a year. Passed it up not because I don't think it is a great value. I mean, the ClickFunnels community is, even though I've been engaged in it relatively briefly, I think is a very strong, supportive community overall for those that are starting out in their businesses and entrepreneurs in general. And they provide a ton of excellent free resources that are out there as well. And the decision I ultimately made in terms of should I go for such a program or not was not so much that it sounds like a lot of money, and obviously, at least where I'm at in my life, $25,000 is certainly a lot of money. But I think with anything, if you see enough value in it, you can ultimately find a way to come up with the resources to get in and allow you to participate. But it wasn't so much about the dollar amount or anything. It was really more so about me viewing that as ultimately kind of an excuse for why, or I could see myself, I guess, using that as an excuse for why I would not be making progress in my business. Now that sounds a little like counterintuitive, because you're saying like, hey, you're buying a coaching program that's supposed to help you start a business. How would that inhibit the growth in your business? Well, the problem I have is that, again, I still have a day job. I usually work 9 or 10-hour days in that job, Monday through Friday, sometimes a little bit on the weekend, depending on what the needs are. And so this whole new business venture is something I'm doing on the side, right? And again, I've already mentioned I have a family, 2 young kids, that obviously keeps me occupied in the evening, getting the kids ready, having dinner, getting them ready for bed, etc. And I mean, ultimately give my wife a break, who, again, I'm very blessed that she's able to stay home with them and help them throughout the day. But for those of you that have kids, 2 young kids, is not easy, both under 5 years old at this point. So they're all running around craziness all day long in my house, and my wife takes the brunt of that, and I am blessed that she does that willingly and enjoys it. Overall, obviously there's always things you have to deal with, day-to-day challenges that you face, but in any case, the point being, going back to why not do a $25,000 coaching program, it's ultimately time for me, right? So I don't have the luxury of no day job and all the time in the week, which obviously we're all limited in what time we have, but I have much less time, given that I am trying to do this on a part-time basis, and would like to do various things such as documenting my journey, as I'm starting to do now here. And therefore, the problem with a lot of the opportunities and information you can get out there is it can be just overwhelming. I mean, we are in the information age, right? So whether you're paying for a coaching program, you're paying for an information product, whatever that is, that ultimately takes you time to consume that information. And it's just like buying a book, right? You buy a book, maybe you read it once. Number one, it takes you time to read the book, but number two is that it takes you even more time to actually apply the knowledge of that book into whatever the subject matter is that the book was about. And if you don't take the time to take that information that you've been given and apply it into whatever your situation, whatever the problem is you're trying to address, then the question is, why did you buy the book in the first place? Because, at least for me, I mean, I guess I know some people just enjoy reading books. Just that's like a form of entertainment essentially for them. Me personally, I'm not like that. I read books because I want to learn something specific about something that's going on in my life or in the world or whatever the case is. And frankly, I don't really read a ton. So again, I'm very selective with the books that I do choose to read, and I'm trying to make a better effort of the books that I do read, really trying to take some action on what is going on and what kind of value they were providing to me in my life or whatever the situation is. So again, because I have limited amount of time, I could see it being used as an excuse to say, well, I spent $25,000 for this, great program, great materials, great resources, again, access to coaches and mentors, etc., various events throughout the year. Again, a lot of value that's provided for that $25,000, but ultimately, that would cut out a significant portion of the limited time that I have to focus on building the business. That would ultimately keep me from building the business. So while I might have bought, if I bought that a year from now, I might be much more educated, mentally in terms of what I need to do. I would probably be no further along in actually doing much of anything, because again, if I'm spending so much time just learning the knowledge without actually applying it, then ultimately that's not of much use. And I think it was Alex Hormozy that I have been listening to a lot lately over the past year, as well as read his book, $100 Million Offers. Has said it. He's a very kind of blunt, straightforward type of person, which I appreciate. And he says the same thing, essentially, like, so if you want to learn the skill of sales, there's no point in really doing sales training if you haven't done any sales, because sales training is only good if you understand what's actually involved in the art of selling something to somebody. And if you've never even done that, like, at all, period, then you don't even know what you don't know. So, I mean, it's fine. Sales training is fine if you feel like you need to do that. And there are obviously things I've learned, like from guys like him, just through watching free, videos and listening to his podcast, various tactics that I already know I can employ when I start to sell people things in my business. But ultimately, it comes down, you just got to do the thing, right? You have to take the time to just do whatever it is that you need to do. I'm starting a business. I've already learned a lot, which I might go into later, about like setting up a business, legal structures, accounting, these sorts of things, from some past experiences. But there are still plenty of things I don't know. Again, I'm here at a marketing conference, essentially, a marketing and I would say sales as well kind of conference. I'm learning a ton already in this environment, and again with like podcasts and videos that I try to watch on occasion when I have time to learn some of the basics. But ultimately, what I need to do now is put it into action. So that will require some kind of upfront building out of certain things like marketing materials. If I choose to do advertisements, obviously I'm going to have to do those things, and I don't know how to do any of those things, but all I can do is take an action, take a step forward to try to do those things. And I'll probably suck at it. I will suck at it, because guess what? When you try anything new, you suck at it at first. Like, there are very few prodigies out there that can sit down on the piano and just like instantly know how to play the piano, right? It's going to take some time. It's going to take some practice. And yeah, along the way, obviously you want to have teachers, you want to have mentors, you want to have coaches. But sometimes you just got to sit down on the piano and just, figure things out. Like, what are these keys that I'm pressing on this keyboard? Why are some of them white, some of them black? Let me actually press the keys and listen to what's going on. Realize that as I start mashing a bunch of keys, it doesn't sound great and it's very bad. And then think, oh, well, there's a structure here to these keys. I see there's like a pattern of how these keys are laid out. What does that mean? And then I start to understand that problem better. It's like, oh, this is the scale of the musical notes, A to G, and then it repeats. And you got your sharps and flats, etc. So then you start to learn and understand the problem better, because you're actually there doing the thing. You're actually putting in the work that's required to understand what needs to be done. And then at some point, yes, you could say, well, I get what I'm looking at now. Now I need some help to understand, like, how do I actually put these notes together in a way that makes good music? And so you do that. But again, I'm not quite there yet in this journey of, starting up this new business. So I need to ultimately just do the thing and suck at it, and, maybe hopefully make some kind of sales, and probably have some people get upset because they don't think I'm selling. They don't think what I'm selling them is worth the price that they're paying, and that's fine. all I can do is put it out there, with understanding kind of what the best practices are, try to follow as much of the guidance as I can from things I've learned here and elsewhere. But ultimately put it out there for people to hate. Like there's also something I deal with in my day job, which is, there's so many people out there that just kind of don't want to take any steps because what they think they're putting together isn't going to be perfect, or it's not going to be great, or they're not going to be like exceptionally proud of the thing. And look, I struggle with this too. I'm not saying I have fully like gotten over this issue, but the problem with that is that you ultimately just never get anything out at the end. And so the best plan is to put together something, give it to whoever you're providing it to, whether it's a customer or colleague, whatever the case is, and let them hate it if that's what they want to do. If it truly does suck, they're going to tell you that it sucks and that you should go back and tweak this or change this, or you did this wrong, you calculated that wrong, and that's okay. Because you're learning at the thing that you suck at, but you're going to get better by getting that feedback. You're ultimately going to get better at doing the thing, and then the second time you do that, you give it to your boss or your customer or whoever. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is better, but I still want you to change this thing or that thing. Put the charts in this order, whatever the case is. It doesn't matter. And again, you do that enough times, put in enough reps, you actually start to get good at the thing, and you start sucking less. And then ultimately, you suck less enough that you're actually good. You're great at the thing. So that's, again, kind of where I'm at in my journey here. Don't know if any of that resonates with anybody, but if it does, feel free to follow along. I guess I'm supposed to say you should subscribe to my channel now, hit the like button, YouTube algorithm, et cetera, et cetera. Again, on this part of my journey, in terms of just sharing what I'm going on, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I should say that. Maybe if there's enough people, I can make a few cents from Father Google with the ad revenue or whatever. But again, that's not really my point here. My point is to document this ultimately more so for me in terms of going from $0 to $1 million in revenue over the coming year. That's my goal. That's where I want to get. I've got bigger goals beyond that, but this is the first step. 0 to $1 million. Then we can talk about 1 to 10 or 10 to 100, whatever the case is. So yeah, that's about all I guess I want to say today. Today, again, is the last day of this conference here in Orlando. I'll be flying home tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing my family again. It's been a whole week out here, but definitely learned a lot, and look forward to continuing on this journey. That's all for now. Thanks.